Aurora and Arthur Petrova, the apple crumble. At 18 Haraway, the clocks strike 4:20, a Friday in November with shadows in plenty. The date, November 3rd, 2017. A dismal, cold twilight, a late autumn scene. Aurora feels crestfallen, reduced to near tears. Moving from Romford has triggered her fears. The house is an eyesore, or so she insists, on borrowed time living in damp, grayish mists. I long for my old school, the girl does berate, while Harlow the dog watches her loquacious state. Her brother is Arthur, aged 9 and quite vocal. In green-framed glasses, he feels rather local. While Aurora is loquacious, Arthur is too, a juvenile chatterbox, through and through. Homeschooled by Sharon and Ruby, he thrives in this great battle world where his family arrives. But Keeve the ginger cat, snobbish and grand, thinks Arthur's loud singing should strictly be banned. Your scales are erratic, the tabby does mew. A cacophony, Arthur, it's painful, it's true. In the kitchen stands Sasha, their aunt from Sofia, to thwart all the sadness, that is her idea. Come, help me, she calls. Let us start from scratch now. To let gloom escalate, I will not allow. Aurora feels petulant, reluctant to engage, like a fish out of water or bird in a cage. This move is a big mistake, Auntie, she sighs, with a flicker of misery deep in her eyes. But Sasha is tolerant, peeling with care, a sour Granny Smith and a sweet-scented air. Arthur joins in, for he isn't inferior to his sister Aurora, who feels she was superior. They are like chalk and cheese, yet they must collaborate, lest the recipe fail and the dough deteriorate. They use analog scales, which are quite outdated. The precision they need is much overrated. Set the fan oven high, Arthur cries with a shout. 160! Let's see what comes out, Sasha admonishes. Don't be so erratic. The timing is 40, don't be so dramatic. The self-rising flour is sifted and light, a powdery blizzard, a mountainous white. The monotony kills me, Aurora complains, as the sibilant sugar falls down like the rains. It's tedious work, akin to a chore. She sprinkles the cinnamon onto the floor. Sasha says, hush, do not mar our sweet treat. With petulant words and with dragging of feet, the crumble is forming, a buttery mess, to soothe every worry and ease every stress. Maria and Petar stand near the back door, their Bulgarian roots they would never ignore. Maria wears orange, her buns tucked in tight to conceal old scars that are kept out of sight. The kettle had burned her, a memory dire. Now orange silk hides every trace of that fire. Petar is in blue, looking weary but kind. The borrowed time burden is heavy on mind. The landlord will vacate us soon, Petar says. The prospect of moving is a thick, gloomy haze. Romford was better, Aurora declares, as she slices the fruit into uneven squares. Harrow Lodge was a dream, a spectacular place, but Battle Hall Jr. is just a disgrace. Arthur chimes in. It's not all that bad. The kids in this village are actually glad. It's ethnically diverse, a tapestry bright, with people from everywhere morning and night. Aurora retaliates. I feel so alone, in a school where the faces are mostly unknown. Sasha stirs in the butter. Don't be so severe. The move was a necessity, let that be clear. Though you feel alienated, you'll soon find your way in this Essex village where the little ones play. But the uniforms, Aurora cries. They're appalling. The spirit of Harrow Lodge is constantly calling. She feels on the brink of a total demise, with the weight of the world in her pink-tinted eyes. You're being premature, Sasha says with a grin. Wait for the crumble before you begin. Maria approaches and touches her hair. I know that you're reluctant. I know it's unfair. But Baddow is lovely, with fields and with trees, and a house with a kitchen to bake what we please. Aurora sighs softly. Her anger abates. as the scent of the apples now permeates. Albeit I'm sad, this crumble smells grand. She takes a small piece of the dough in her hand. It's a compliment to the cold weather outside, she says, with a hint of her Bulgarian pride. Arthur speaks up of his tutoring days with Sharon and Ruby in numerous ways. My homeschooling thrives. I don't need a hall to learn about history or bounce a big ball. Sasha asks, do you miss all your friends from the street? Arthur says, no, for the quiet is sweet. I don't have the stress of a noisy classroom or the constant foreboding of academic doom. Kiev the cat lets out a soft, bored meow. He thinks Arthur should stop all his talking right now. They talk of the cars, a notorious history. Why the Audi A3 broke is always a mystery. Petar shakes his head. That machine was a ditch, a mechanical nightmare, a technical hitch. Uncle Billy arrives with a thud and a stump, ready to join in the culinary pump. The Vectra was worse. Billy laughs with a roar. The smoky blue beast that we used to adore. It was abysmal, Petar agrees with a sigh. A royal blue wreck under a gray Romford sky. It smoked like a chimney, Arthur recalls. The smell of the fumes in the garage's walls. It was appalling, Petar says. Quite a sight. When the engine would fail in the middle of night. And the Audi? Arthur asks. Was it truly that bad? It was premature failure. His father looks sad. It left us on foot in the pouring cold rain, a source of incessant mechanical pain. The demise of their transport was almost a joke, vanishing into a cloud of blue smoke. But now, says Petar, his eyes full of light, the BMW 3 Series is shiny and bright, 2013, and it's manual too, a sleek black beauty that's waiting for you. Billy nods wisely. It's a much better ride, with no clouds of smoke to be lurking inside. It's not perfect, Petar says. It's a bit of a squeeze, but it handles the corners with relative ease. Avoid the old Vectra, that is their new creed, as they focus on baking with maximum speed. Arthur then mentions his musical feats. My piano is better than cookies or sweets. Andrea Badmus is teaching me well how to cast a melodic and magical spell. Kiev the cat gives a flick of his tail. His playing, he thinks, is a mournful, loud wail. The incessant banging is quite a distress. It leaves my poor feline nerves in a mess. You're improving, shouts Arthur, but Kiev just blinks. He has his own thoughts on what the boy thinks. Billy brings ornaments, red and quite bold, Bulgarian treasures of silver and gold. He places a martinitsa on the high shelf, looking quite proud of his handiwork self. Under no circumstances, Harlow declares, should these trinkets be left for the dogs on the stairs. They are out of bounds, and they're strictly taboo, though they look rather festive and shiny and new. The dog speaks in English, quite formal and grand, the most elegant creature in all of the land. The crumble is ready, the oven is hot, Sasha slides in the heavy clay pot. The penultimate step, Arthur cries in his glee, soon there'll be crumble for you and for me. The kitchen is warm with a cinnamon glow, as the shadows of evening continue to grow. It's back to square one if we burn it today, Sasha warns Arthur, so stay far away. The heat from the oven is comforting, thick, while the clock on the wall gives a rhythmic tick. At last it is finished. The timer goes ding, a sound that makes everyone's hungry hearts sing. Petar stands tall at the head of the table to provide for his family as well as he's able. He folds his tired hands and he says a short prayer as the scent of the fruit fills the autumnal air. Thank you for food and the roof o'er our head, he says as the steam from the crumble is spread. Maria says, Amen, and smiles at her kin, ready for dinner to finally begin. Custard for me, Uncle Billy exclaims, as he calls out the pudding's most glorious names. It's thick and it's yellow, a velvet delight, the perfect companion for this chilly night. Petar agrees as he pours out a stream of the golden sauce, like a wonderful dream. It's the last straw for me, Arthur says with a laugh. If I don't get a bowl and a half and a half. The kitchen is filled with the clinking of spoons under the light of the first winter moons. But Maria and Aurora have other ideas. Ice cream is the thing that will settle their fears. Custard is abysmal, Aurora declares, as she moves her dessert away from the prayers. Ice cream is better. It's cold and it's sweet. The only way I will consume such a treat. Maria nods. Yes, it's a taste of the best, a snowy white scoop to be put to the test. They watch the vanilla start melting away, the highlight of this quite tumultuous day. Aurora tries giving a sweet to the dog, a chocolate square in the November fog. No, Arthur screams. It's a danger, a peril. To dogs, it's as bad as a poison most sterile. He intervenes quickly and snatches the prize, with a look of great wisdom in his green eyes. Indeed, barks out Harlow, I must not partake, lest my poor canine heart should begin to ache. The family is happy, the crumble is gone, as the lights of Great Baddow start flickering on.